But yeah, it's just Jhin.
So now they could just lock Kennen if they feel like Zeus can play Kennen into Rumble. Feels like one of the best options. Camille will be the opt-in instead. Can be quite punishing into this pick, but doesn't have the best jungle setup for it. Feels very good with the Camille. Bard feels very strong as well. You know, you highlighted it earlier.
I meant it for the BNK side, but we end up with it anyway.
Yeah. I think it would have been fine for either side. Does feel very good into the Jhin lane, though, and very powerful with Ashe. We'll see if he can get anything done here at level 1. Senna will just put down a ward. Cleared. And then the top lane matchup, if Clear spaces well with his harpoons, can kind of keep Zeus at bay.
Zeus on a split push pick like the Camille. Here comes Owner invading in onto Duro, but now he's just going to have to flash the wall. Keria just puts down a magical journey kind of into nowhere, but T1 do want to fight this. Just stay straight up 4v4 in the jungle, just fighting it up. There's the flash stun onto 2, and the follow-up comes in. Raptor solo, double knockup from Duro, but it just doesn't matter. The damage is taken away, and T1 will pick up 2 kills in one of the most random fights I've ever seen.
Trying to burn his way to an advantage. It all starts off here when Raptors are respawning, and then Duro ends up trying to make this play here, whiffs it, doesn't have his knockup anymore, and I feel like at this moment for BNK, you're like, oh, I think they can't win this. We're doing a decent amount of damage. But then, slows come through, stun comes through, Henna is Jhin, gets his big one, his 4th shot, and then he's like, well, I'm reloading. And they'll all be reloading out of the spawn room after Keria makes a fantastic play. They had Prio. Closers pushed away by the Gatling guns.
They got a lot more than just the Raptors, we can say. Speaking of which, going in this time.
Didn't force the cleanse out. Zeus may be in trouble.
Ooh. Okay, well, he is burning a bit, but Equalizer is not going to get the kill. Meanwhile, in mid, there's that level 6. Faker not really concerned. He just wants to get the minions, but he might have to pay for it. The slow comes in, as now looking to turn around. Will try to flash the wall, but Closer's got a flash of his own. Meanwhile, they're diving the bot lane. That's not going very well. They're going to abandon that as the sleep comes in. Duro actually gets stunned up. It will be a kill onto Duro.
A Jhin that feels so out of place in this draft, especially if they're going to be skirmishing this heavily early.
Well, he found a moment to get this Zeus stat up. He is going to press his R button onto Clear, who does have flash. And there's no more lockdown, so, well, they got the flash out of him, they'll say. Hashtag worth. But now we got to fight in mid once again as Faker's just being run down here by the Zeri. Has this Valkyrie over the wall. It's a big one, though, to the face of Closer as it gets extremely close, and now
Will actually stay for it. Thought he was going to have completed that back as, Clear
actually gets pushed out of the bowling ball. That's going to force Zeus to flash once he sees Raptor, which does feel pretty nice, you know, for the Lilia, for the Ashe kiting. Just trying to make a play happen, but Raptor a bit alone. He does have Closer coming up, and the Equalizer is good as well. Owner will be taken down. And now Zeus just on the run. This Zeri just getting so much value in this game. Zeus just go back into the pit, but no hook shot and no escape for the top laner of T1. So that's 2 kills now. Raptor now waiting. Thankfully for Zeus, Keria is coming up here. And he does have his ult available. It's just going to hook shot into Clear. BNK unsure about what to do now that Keria shows up. But Zeus is going on in, and he's in a bit of trouble as, the ults have stacked. And now we got a TP coming in. The double stun comes in from Keria. A lot of damage coming out of this Rumble, but there's just too many players coming up to the top side for T1 as Faker's TP.
Of that hit doesn't have the flash from the previous play. And then here, Keria showing up means this play is over, and BNK looked a little bit lost as to what to do next. Clear decides to all in with his Flame Spitter because he's like, well, we're not getting out of here. It's almost enough damage, but then once Faker TPs through, they end up getting the cleanups here. Duro shows up. Closer wasn't really an AD carry to begin with, but isn't really going to be relevant in this game for a while.
All Faker taking a bunch of damage here in mid. And yeah, it really just comes down to where do you want that money. And on the side of BNK, they're looking to really eliminate Zeus from the game. And
but at least trying to use your power point very well there in the mid lane. Speaking of.
Yeah, Anna came back. He doesn't have flash, and there's a Camille on the enemy team. So he's just going to go down. Doesn't get to play the game, as I said. Raptor also getting ganked in his own jungle by the rest of T1. So a couple of big picks here for the side of T1. There's no objective to really roll this into, but they're trying to really push their lead.
It's getting out macroed again, and now I'm going to have to flip back to I don't favor this game state for BNK anymore, as Closer's going to try to get something done.
All right, the charm in and the knock up here for Keria. He has to flash away. Guma as well, being pressured, and now you've got a rumble right underneath, but the magical journey is so good, and in goes Closer. And he is going to pick up that kill. Now the response, the stun comes in, the cleanse there, and the damage is just huge from the Lilia and from the Corki. They're chasing him down. And the chase potential of this squad is just so huge with these champions. So T1 able to strike back. And they did that, but they got punished. As now, Sleep might be coming in and no steal this time, but they are going to catch Faker, who does have a magical journey, and he's gonna flash into it and get away! And now the three-man Sleep comes in with the bowling ball. Everybody is caught up in this one, and BNK are caught again as the double kill goes over to Owner.
Well, so watch this again. Guma's on the cross here, slowing them on the approach. Really appreciate that. Now Faker gets caught here, but then carries over the wall. Tempered Fate comes through. And then Faker's like, all right, flashes through, and they're all like, better chase him. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
No.
BNK in a nutshell.
If weirdly enough, if Faker dies there, maybe they don't chase. Like if it doesn't flash perfectly, they don't chase. It's actually fine for BNK. If I had to guess, it's probably going to be a 2-0 because whoever wins game 1 gets some momentum. But game 2 looked like that wasn't going to be the case until it was. Raptor finds an angle.
Nice cleanse comes in, and there's the arrow to the face, but the charm's still going to land. These two guys kind of caught out, but once again, Tempered Fate comes through, but Guma, no escape for him. Owner a lot more tanky, and Duro just going to go down to mostly Faker and a bit of damage from the Lilia as, man, Owner is just so incredibly fed at this point. Everything is burning, and Closer maybe gets hit. Nope, it's just going to be the Camille that does get on in. Raptor has to flash clear. There's just nowhere to go. And you gave him Rumble. You felt good about this one for the side of BNK. Insane amounts that this Lily is able to do. You have so much control when you've got Lily and Bardis. Now we're going to get the root down onto Faker. Another Temper Fate is going to come forward, but there's only so much they can do. A ton of damage goes into Duro as a bit of ticking down does happen from the Lilia. I think the wallets are just that big at this point in time.
And with a late cleanse there, just
a little bit. We've already got cleanse, so. But yeah, this is just pretty far up from T1. And finally, it feels like BNK are able to punish something, but then Faker just trades one back.
Yeah, I mean, it is a kill onto the support versus a kill onto the Corki, so maybe an equalizer starts things off. It's going to be the dream if you're hoping to come back from this one.
To also pressure the side lane, and this is just one way to do it as well, I suppose. The McHales comes out, gets some value. They're going to catch only Duro as the equalizer gets some good value. Now BNK looking to try to take this fight. Owner has to flash away, and take a look at Zeus just trying to peel for the team as he's going to have to throw down the ultimatum and flash away. There is pretty much just the one ward on the blue buff, and that's about it. And Keria and Guma are just trying to push them away alongside of Faker, it turns out. Duro just with the McHale's first, he's just so squishy. I talked about it earlier on. He just doesn't do much. And now Raptor trying to get close to the pit. Here's the turn as well. And T1, they do find it. Zeus not going to pull the trigger. I mean, eventually.
No backs allowed. You can't even buy items. Come on, Valdez. He's on par for. He's on pace for POG this game. You know, just he can do no wrong, right? He's perfect.
God.
Yeah, Raptor just goes in, and then the equalizer, I guess, was hopefully going to save him and clear his mind in that.
Just really fast. You know, they have the one Cloud Drake. He's barred, and he's got Warmox. And now it's going to find Clear. McHales comes down, but Clear is just dead. And eventually, here comes the Sealed Fate as well, or the Tempered Fate, gonna catch Raptor, and everybody's just being hit in the face by some gigantic wallets on the side of T1. It is a clean ace, and that will do it for game number 2 in the series. T1 gonna go into playoffs with a 2-0 win.
No one really knew what the form was going to look like for T1 in an important match to deny BNK playoffs leading into this week. BNK already had it guaranteed, already had it on lock. I feel like nothing to play for here except the fans for T1.
One is, and he's like, well, let's see what's over here. And then he died.
Calling for Rumble, saying that he equalized, and saying Zeri, as then Zeus ult Zeri. Pretty silent otherwise, as the fans go wild.